It's taking a bit long. I wonder why. Let me just check the webinar. Yep, we are on a good network. That works fine. And we are on. Right? Let's come back to this. Just a second. Give me a minute. Yes. Okay, then. All right, everyone. And so happy to be here. So let's say a few hellos. Hi, everyone. Hello to Nalini, Suparna, Poonam, and
Hello, Ma.
and
Hi.
Karna, and Darshan, and Deepika, and Parinita, and Manju, and Leela, and Jagmeet, and Megha, Preeti, and Surendra, and Manasi, and Pooja. And this is like reading the roll call. And
Avni.
Himali and Jaya. Hello, hello,
And
hello.
Avni.
Hi, Iti. Hi, Nishchit. Hi, everybody. Okay, so wonderful to have you all here. And let's get going with today's topic. The topic for today, let me adjust this a little bit so that the lighting is better. Okay, I think. Oh, well. All right. So the topic for today is all about complacence. You know, complacence, we are first going to ask, okay, how many people, I'm going to take a roll call over here. So people who think that they are complacent now, please raise your hands or write on the chat that you think that you are complacent. Complacent matlab, ठीक है, you know, why to do anything about anything? जो चल रहा है वैसे ही ठीक है. जो हो रहा है वैसे ही ठीक है. How many of you feel that complacence in your bones ever since you came into this spiritual path? Anybody here? Anybody feeling complacent? Okay. Nalini says she's feeling
even I do so
Abhi
often.
says yes. Sonali says yes. Supi says yes. Okay. We are seeing Manasi says yes. Manasi says me. Me or you? All right. Iti says on and off. A few other people say that yes, every now and then we feel that and we don't feel that. So let's first go back to the word complacent itself and how we have looked at the word when we are not in awareness, when we are not in awareness. So this is really funny because when you talk about, oh, you have become so complacent, it is almost like a bad word. It's a gali. It's not a good word. It's not taken in the right sense. It's almost like you are too lazy to do anything. You are not at all wanting to do something to better your condition. You are just not productive. You are a nuisance to the society when you are complacent. And this is how we have looked at ourselves when we were complacent. So when something outside is going wrong, let us say, outside is severe injustice. We've done another webinar on injustice, but let us consider that we have not done this webinar and let us say that we are still living in the unaware space. I say that because, yes, people who have been with me will know the answers to whatever I'm going to say. But this webinar every once in a while reaches out to a bit more people. And even within you guys, it wakes you up just a little bit more. So when we think of ourselves as being complacent, it's not a good state to be in. It is not good to be okay with everything. What if there is injustice happening? Are you going to be okay with it? Are you not going to raise your voice against it? If this is what people like you do, oh, what happened to this? Can everybody see me?
No, we saw whiteboard.
Okay, fine. Can everybody see me now? I don't know from where that came on.
Yes,
can you see me now?
Now we can.
Okay, fine. All right. So when we are thinking about complacence, and then we say, okay, we are happy with whatever injustice is in the world, whatever is happening around us, it doesn't bother us. Just very recently, I was out, in one of the cities of India. And when many of the people don't live there. The city was Gwalior. Many of the people don't live there. They've moved out and they go there after a long time. I met with a bunch of people, and amongst them, one of them was particularly unhappy because he said, I left a stone. I noticed a stone 20 years ago. That stone is still sitting there. This entire city is so complacent. Nobody is moving anything. Nobody is doing anything. This city is rotting. And there is no joy in being in this city because there is no development. There is no progress. And he was really bitterly complaining about that city. On the other hand, Sudhanshu, who has also gone there after a long time, when he was looking at the city, he was like, oh my God, there is so much construction that is happening. This place is going to get a new airport. Wow, there are all of these buildings. This place, when we used to go, there was not anybody around. And now it's a hustling, bustling city. So he was noticing those parts of the city. And this other person was noticing all the parts that have not moved at all. And it was making him so unhappy. And I said, well, you are here and you're living here now. If you are not so happy, leave this place. Leave this place. Why are you even here? If you are so unhappy and the city is what makes you so unhappy, leave this place. Go somewhere else that makes you happy. Then, of course, there was other stories that no, wife has gotten a job there and she needs to be here. So I need to be here. So this is the whole point, that he was going to be there. However, he was going to complain about it while he was going to be there. And the only thing I said to him, if you're feeling so much of, anxiety just by looking at the progress of the city, why don't you do something about it? Because I don't want to push him towards awareness. Maybe it's his time. Maybe it's not his time. It's not my job to push everybody towards awareness. But if you are unhappy about something, you'd probably do something about it. So I said to him, if you're so unhappy about something, what is this?
Again, there is this thing.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what is happening, and it's happening on its own. My hands are unoccupied. I'm not doing anything.
But we can hear you, so it's okay. Whenever it comes, we can hear
whenever
you
it
now.
happens, I move it. You mute yourself now. So anyways, so as we were talking about it, and I said to him, I said, okay, if something is making you so unhappy, as we normally do, that if something is making me unhappy, I do something about it. So I said to him, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you be the one to put that stone in place or something? And he's like, no, I can't do anything. This is the government. It's the government, that hasn't moved and the system hasn't moved. And it's all about the system. And the finger is outside on the system. And he's feeling what? He's feeling so much of anger and bitterness towards the system that the system is not working. And I simply, again, this time I moved and I said, okay, when something is not working, just by you being bitter, just by you being angry and anxious all the time, is it going to help you? Is it going to make any change to the society, to the government, to something? Is it going to change something? And he says, no, but how can I just sit and not do anything? And I said, but what is it that you are doing? How can I just sit and not do anything? And I said, what is it that you are doing? You are simply bringing yourself to more and more unhappiness. That's all that you are doing. There is nothing constructive, not in the outer sense, about you simply being more unhappy and more unhappy. Being more unhappy, if that was going to move the rocks and the scale and the city and the society, a lot more things would have moved, because there are so many of us. Okay, Iti shared a file in the meeting. Iti, what file are you sharing in the meeting?
Nothing, you can ignore it.
Oh, acha, okay, fine. All right, okay. All right, she's fine. She's finding something in blue. All right. A blue. All right. So as we said, as we were talking about it, and I just simply said to him, by you being unhappy, is it doing anything constructive? It's not. And even let us say tomorrow, you're so unhappy that you decide to move something. You decide to write petitions to the government, you get the stones moved, you get the progress growing, all of that, let us say it happens tomorrow. Now, all of us, the ones who understand energy and the ones who understand how things play out, just by doing something, would he have finished that anxiety and that anger and that frustration that he feels within? What do you think? Of course not. Because when you have grown so much of frustration inside you, then what will happen? Well, that frustration is going to keep finding ways to exhibit itself. Do you think, it's the same city that those two people are looking at? One is saying, wow, there has been so much of development. And the other person is saying, not a single stone has moved. What is it that is making one see the development, and what is it that making is the other person not see any development at all and see so much of frustration? It is the frustration that is already within you. It is the frustration that is already within you that wants you to change the system, because everything that is around you today is frustrating you. It is frustrating you. Even many of us, for example, many of us are looking at our family lives or work lives or lives in general. And there are so many parts of our lives where we are so frustrated. We are so frustrated looking at that part of our lives and saying, that needs to move, that needs to move. But by us getting more frustrated and wanting that thing to move, maybe it will move and maybe it will not move. But what is definitely going to happen with us, we are going to find more and more things to frustrate us for sure. That's the simple energy equation. No matter what energy we are sitting in, our focus in the unawares, our focus in the unawares will constantly be towards that same frequency, and we will constantly be able to grow that energy, that frequency even more. Then amongst these people, so, one is observing all of this. There was this one fellow who was talking to that person. Actually, the whole webinar topic came out from that conversation itself, complacence. And so there was this one other fellow who said, if something is not working in the system, don't look at it. Jane dena, don't worry about it. What is it? You can always ignore it. And that angered this person even more. Yeah, you people have been ignoring this. That is why nothing has happened. There you go. Growing the frustration even more on people who are ignoring. And now when we look at the other person who's been living in Gwalior for years, and he's been living over there, and he's really, really happy with the city. He really enjoys living in that city. And that person has no such qualms about this is not moving and that is not moving. And whatever is not moving, he's able to look at it and yet be able to let it go. That's absolutely beautiful, because he's able to be at peace with whatever is not shifting outside. But I again have a little bit of a story over here, because when we are unaware and things are happening that don't impact us, they don't impact us, and we are sitting and we are saying jaane de, and we are saying jaane de. It is wonderful that we are able to say that we are able to be in these frequencies of peace when the outside is not looking so good, so favorable, when the outside is seeming to not move at all. Look at this, whether it belongs to the city, this line, or to your family, when the outside is not moving at all, when the outside doesn't seem to move, observe your frequency. Is it of peace or is it of frustration? And so we were talking about this person whose frequency seems to be of peace. However, this is because this is still one step removed. This is still one step removed from you. What if some of your work was stuck in that government system that doesn't seem to be moving? What if his work was stuck? And what if something that he really wanted to happen was not happening? Would he be sitting in the same place of it's okay, jaisa chal raha hai, theek hai, would he be in that space of complacence, or now would he be complaining too? That place, whether you are going to be complaining when something that you are close to, when something that you are tied into, when something that you have attachments to, when that is not moving as per your wishes, as per your desires, what are you in that moment? Are you able to be complacent about that? Or are you now starting to inch towards, I need to move something, I need to do something, this system needs to change, this process needs to be changing? So by now, if you've been listening to me, already you have understood that just like how a few weeks ago we broke the meaning of injustice. We broke the meaning of partiality. We broke also, just a few weeks ago, we broke the meaning of, the self-identity crisis, when people have identity crisis and they are feeling so confused. And I said, well, it's a great thing. And then when we talked about partiality, I said, well, it's a great thing. And so today we are here to break the word complacence, because to be complacent, to be at peace with whatever is happening outside, is a great thing. It is when, how can I be complacent when outside so much of wrong is happening? When we are sitting in the judgments of right and wrong. Even when I meet many people on this path of spirituality, many of us, including me, I was culprit on this one as well. Many of us start out by wanting to make this place a better place to live. We want to make Earth a better place to live. And that's the bigger purpose in life. That's the bigger place in life that we want to go to. That whatever is happening right now, there is so much of injustice, there is so much of, there's so much of poverty, there is so much of wrong stuff happening. And I would want to make this Earth, even if I can change 2% of it, but I would want to make this Earth a better place to live. And for that, we cannot be complacent. We cannot be happy with whatever is happening. We have to be constantly on the move, reforming this, petitioning this, running after this, revolting after this. Something or the other will keep happening that will keep us engaged in whatever we think is wrong outside. When we think that something is wrong outside, whose judgment is it? It might be a collective judgment. Many people, of course, will say, I think almost all of us will say, rape is wrong. Rape is a wrongdoing. And so when there is a wrongdoing, we will want to correct it through laws, through petitions, through changes of the system, through changes of the society, etc., etc. And then you come to this place of understanding energies. And you begin to understand that no matter how harsh the experience sounds, when we are looking at it from a body perspective, a murder, a rape, they sound extremely harsh. But whose energy is it that is choosing that experience? Whose energy is choosing any experience that is happening to them? My universe is fully, totally, completely created by my energy frequencies. Your energies are creating your universe. No matter how good or how bad the experience looks, every experience is nudging us forward. It is nudging us forward. There is no going back, even if the experience is, let us say, you don't think good about somebody who's a drug addict and they're ruining their lives and they're not paying attention to, their own body, their own life. They're completely ruining their whole life. Well, to say over here that it's okay the way it is, you'll be shaken up if you're only looking at it from the body experience. From the body perspective, it would seem to be a terrible thing to do, to let such a person just simply live and not to want to reform them. But when we understand energy, and when we understand that each energy field is the creator, It is the Shiva. And my energy field has already been through so many different experiences. And only then can it come to this space of awareness. The earth is a place where we have to go through every kind of experience, not because it's a punishment, but because we wanted to see the duality part of it. We wanted to experience the whole 360 degrees of experiences. And for that, in a 360 degrees experience, all that is right and all that is wrong in our eyes, it is going to be included because the 360 degrees runs a full circle. And that's how our energies are here taking on some experiences. Just the other day, within the family, within the MPFY family, somebody had a fire in their house. And in that fire, their husband and their mother-in-law got stuck in that fire. I got a very frantic call from one of the friends, and she says, I'm praying to Mani, but please, you also pray to Mani that those two people who are inside the house should be safe. They should be safe and they should be out safely. The only thing that I said to her was, they are going through whatever they are going through. What energies are you sending to them? What energies are you sending to them? I am not going to be sending any healing at this point in time in the way that you want me to. I am not going to pray for their well-being. I'm not going to pray for them to be alive. I am simply going to send them unconditional love. When you look at it from the outside, I'm not even giving them a healing. I'm not giving them a healing. What would you think? Oh my God, this is the height of complacency. This is the height of complacency, that I'm not even willing to send a healing energy to somebody when she's saying, please pray for them. I'm not willing to pray in the way that she wants me to pray. And yet, when I send unconditional love, what is my intent in that space of unconditional love? My intent is, no matter what your journey is, I send you love. May your journey be filled with ease and grace, no matter what your journey is. No matter, no outcomes, no attendance to, oh, this should happen. Oh, I really hope they should come out. I hope this happens. No creating of outcomes, simply being able to understand that each of us are headed on that space. We are all headed outwards. And yet, when will it come? How will it come? Tomorrow, how will I be, spending my last breath? I don't know that. But I only know that if any of you, when you know about my last breath, if any of you are sending me worries and tears and anxieties and all of that stuff, what will happen? I will simply become the tool. I will become the tool of more anxiety, more worry, more fear, more sadness for you. I am simply the tool in your universe, and you are simply the tool in mine. Whatever I have to go through, I do have to go through. And that is the path. And when you totally understand this path, then each of the people that we are seeing outside, somebody going through a rape, somebody going through a murder, somebody going through a bad experience, what is it? It's just simply a small little passage in their entire book of life. And life, not just this life, but the life as we know it, the eternal creation. Life as we understand it, a series of plays of energy, dramas of energy that are constantly manifesting around us from our energy field. And so now that we understand that our doing, so I did not do the healing, but the healing actually already exists in the space of unconditional love. And so when I'm sending them unconditional love, I understand that that is the healing frequency, and that healing is indeed going towards them. It's not going towards their body. it's going towards them. They are gathering this frequency of mind of unconditional love in their energy field, even as they exit or they stay. The next morning, when we had this conversation, the two didn't make it out. The two didn't, it was their exit point. And so they exited the planet Earth. And even then, when I looked at myself, the word that I will use from the outside is complacence. The word that I will use from looking within is peace. So when can I be complacent about anything and everything? When I am at peace. And when will I be at peace with everything? When I understand that everything is simply a play. It's a play, it's a drama, it's an experience that we are simply wishing to receive for now. And this experience too will be over. It'll be over. Whatever we have gone through in this life, it will be over if we allow it to be over. And many a times we get stuck in those experiences and we keep creating more sadness, more anxiety, more frustration, more of something or the other. And that takes us further and further away from peace. So when you look at the word complacent the next time around and somebody says to you, how can you be so complacent? Pat yourself on the back that yes, indeed, you are complacent. You have managed to see through your eyes within that whatever is playing outside is a play of the frequencies which is desired. It is desired by this one and by that one. And through all of this, what is it that you are desiring to do? Shunya, to sit in Shunya. That's where your ultimate, place of seat is. That's your seat, to be sitting in the Shunya, to be able to look through the eyes of an observer everything that is happening around us. When we become a true witness, a true observer, we are totally able to see the play and not be in the play. We are totally able to see the game. We're able to see how the entire creation is happening, and that entire creation is simply towards one thing, one experience. The experience of the now, the experience of the moment is all that we are here for. So every moment as we move from one experience to another, we simply keep moving and we keep, we will create either something for us to do or we will be able to sit in peace with ourselves. When we create for something for ourselves to do, is it a wrong thing to do something? Nothing is wrong. Let me just point out to you that even if you are one of those anxious people and you want to change the world with your, with all the work that you do, yes, you might be able to do something and you might be able to change the world with your doing something. Maybe you will do some construction, maybe you will form a committee, maybe you will make the government change some rules, maybe you will do something. And yet through all of that, when you are sitting in the frequency of angst and frustration, what is it that you are growing for the entire universe? You are growing for the entire universe frequencies of frustration, because that's where you are sitting. You are growing it not just for yourself and for your experiences, but that's how you are contributing to the universe. So you might have contributed to your state by building some new roads, but your job is much bigger. Your job is to contribute to the universe. And what is it that you're contributing to the universe? More frustration frequencies, more anxieties, more worries, more fears. That's what we are normally always doing in the place of unawareness. Whatever energy experiences we are having, we continue to sit in them. And as we sit in them, we simply gain more of the same experiences. And for the entire universe, we are growing those experiences. And then one day we become aware. And when we become aware and we begin to see the play for the play that it is, oh, okay, all right, this is not moved and I'm being shown my frustration through this stone on the road. Okay, I will not look at the stone. I will look at things which have moved and the things which make me happy. So I will look at other parts of, the society. I'll look at other parts of the state. I'll look at other parts of, any place where I am, and I will look at parts where I can focus on my own joy. And so actually in the reality of energies, when you are complacent, you are at peace. What is it that you're growing? You are growing energies of peace for the entire universe. Now, do you think that is a better contribution than some committee and some road construction, that you are able to grow peace for the entire universe as you sit and you transmit your energies of peace? We talk about this all the time because, now that you understand and you are taking energies from Meenal, I take energy from Meenal, I am Meenal. Wherever you are sitting, no matter where you are sitting, which part of the world you are in, now you are vibrating at that frequency of abundance, that frequency of joy. What is it that you are a transmission tower of when you are sitting in the frequencies of joy and abundance? You are a transmission tower of joy and abundance. And therefore, while you are being complacent, not doing anything in the outer world, simply sitting in your own joy, simply sitting in your own happiness, I'm like, jo ho raha hai, sab badhiya, sab badhiya. And people are like, how will anything change? How will this world be a better place? And I say to them, actually, when I sit in this space of joyfulness, the world is already a tiny little bit more joyful, because I am the one who's contributing to the joy of the universe. And so I am complacent, number one. And in that space, I am the contributor of joy and peace to the universe. So to understand that every word is so filled, we sit, when we are looking outside and we make judgments on these words. This society is complacent, this space is complacent, my office is complacent, my boss is complacent, my wife is complacent, whatever it is that we are complaining about, now take a brand new look at the word itself. Because if somebody is complacent, they're simply not focused on that which is not happening. When you sit with that which is not happening, you sit in lack. And from the place of lack, you sit in frustration. You sit in anger, you sit in agitation. You take your finger away from there. You focus on something that is still giving you joy. As you sit with that joyfulness, what is it that you are already filling yourself? And then, therefore, the outside surrounding with, you are filling it with a little bit more of joyfulness. Many of you don't understand. You're constantly stuck with, I have changed. Okay, but who will change the entire world? There is no entire world. Each of us are here for our very, very specific experiences. We've asked for that. We have taken birth for that. So don't try to make life better for them. They've come to experience life as it is happening in the now. That is the experience they came for. They didn't come to experience royalty. If they wanted to experience royalty, they would be born in a royal family. And even so, what? It was so funny again. We were in Gwalior and we were visiting some of these forts and the way things are, in the forts, and how this king married 6 times and he had 7 queens. And this is where the king sat with all of his queens. And those are the stories that the guides are telling us about how much fun there was at the palace. And the king had these n number of queens, and then, so much of fun with all of his queens. And I was just thinking about it. I said, all of the times, what is it that those kings did? They were always fighting. They were always fighting. Either they were fighting for the throne, then they would be fighting with their cousins and their own brothers and own sisters, the ones that they have grown up with. They would be fighting with them for the throne. Or they would be fighting with some outsiders who want to take on this power, and now you're wanting to, let go of that power. One of the guides that we were with, he made a very interesting comment. He said, if you look down the lineage, all the kings who fought for freedom, everybody who fought, whether it was Rani Lakshmi Bai or it was Shivaji, Anybody who fought for freedom, they had to be on the run. They were constantly fighting, they were constantly running, they were constantly asking for help, sometimes getting it, sometimes getting rejected. However, they were only doing that, being on the run, being stressed out, being being constantly angry that their freedom is being taken away. On the other hand, there were many of those old क्या कहते हैं उनको घरानास or the kingdoms, all of those old kingdoms where those kings just gave in. For example, if the British came in, they gave it to the British. If some other people came in, they gave in to them. They compromised. And today, if you look at the entire, like all the wealth or all the kingdoms that are still alive are the ones who compromised. The ones who compromised, the ones who lived with peace, the ones who didn't fight for their freedom. What do they have today? They still have freedom. They still have their freedom. They didn't get agitated. So when this fellow, the guide fellow, was making this observation on the outside, I was simply, looking at it from the energy perspective. And I said, wow, yeah, to choose peace. Many of the people say, no, you can't take my freedom away. And I remind everyone, freedom is a concept in your mind. It is completely a concept in your mind. You could be completely free. You're not in a prison. You are not in a prison. Your hands are not being held. You're not tied up. You have all of that supposed freedom. And yet you will find that you have made so many limitations for yourself. You've made so many limitations for your own self, and you are bound by those. So basically, really, even if you say that you are free, you really are not. And so I say to people, don't put your freedom on the line. The freedom belongs to you. It doesn't matter whether the kingdom belongs to you or doesn't belong to you, but your freedom belongs to you. It is your inherent property. It is yours. But if you think that you are not free, then you are not free, because then somebody outside will come and show to you in how many different ways you are tied. And your finger will be on that. Oh, my husband doesn't let me do this. My mother doesn't let me do this. My father stops me from that. It is not about them. It is still only about you. But coming to those kingdoms that were on the place of compromise, the ones that chose peace, are the ones who are still thriving. They're just simply getting along. However, does it mean that even when they chose that compromise, were they really free? Who knows? If they were free, they would be feeling that freedom over here. If they are not free, even if their hands are not tied, they would be feeling the word compromise that ties you up to, oh, I am not free, I have to compromise. So again, all of these were just observations from the place, from the place of Gwalior that we went, and all of these, I pick up webinar topics from whatever happens. And so apart from complacency, we are also coming to the place of, are you in freedom or are you without freedom? Take a look at that as well. Coming back to the topic of being complacent, how many of you now understand what a boon it is to be able to sit in that place of complacence? So let's have a show of hands on this one right now. Do you feel that now you would be more engaged in being complacent, or is that blood still boiling at something and you would still want to be doing something? So we have a few more people who've signed up to being complacent. Yes, we see Deepika, and we see Pooja and Preeti and Avani and Manasi and people. So to understand, again, I go back to, what I've been doing, what at least Mani has been doing through me for the last so many weeks, is taking words that hold so much of a meaning and so much of energy underneath it. And most of the time when we talk about energy underneath something, it's energy that is limiting us. this limited energy. And the minute we are able to see the limitation of that word, this word complacence, as with those other words, it totally sits in judgment. We are judging ourselves to be lazy. We are judging ourselves to be not proactive. We are judging ourselves to be not useful to the society when we say, oh, we are complacent, or more importantly, when we say, oh, he is so complacent. And we are actually, that's a negative tag behind somebody's name. And today what we are giving to you is the other meaning of complacence. When you are watching a movie, you're in a hall and you're watching a mythological movie. Let's say you're watching Ramayana, and whatever form of Ramayana that you're watching, the new one or the old one, but let us say you're watching a movie. No matter what is happening to Ram and no matter what is happening to Hanuman, are you feeling the need to go over there and better their lives? No, you are not, because you know the story. You know the story, you know how it is going to move, you know what is going to happen. And so you're simply watching without getting engaged. Oh my God, the poor fellow's wife has been taken away. I need to do something. Let's go there. Let's get into the movie and get his wife back for him. We don't do that. The actors who were there in the story at that time were doing exactly that. They were sitting in doership. They were doing all of the stuff that was needed to be done to create that story. But you, when you're sitting outside and watching that as a story, you don't feel the need to get up and go and save Ram or Ram's wife, because you know the story. In all parts of our universe, stories are playing out. So while we don't know the outcome to the stories, at least just know that it's only a story. It's only a story. So you jumping into it and jumping in and doing things about it is not going to change the story. It will only change as it is meant to. As it is meant to. But what are you doing? You are gathering more anxiety, more worries, more fear for yourself. And in your story, more of that is going to play out, because that's how stories are. Whatever it is that you're collecting is what is going to play out for you. And whatever it is you are transmitting, that is you, and it is going out to the world at large. So transmit joy. All right. Any questions for me from this place of complacence? Any questions for today's topic? No? Everybody has understood everything totally? Everybody is going to be complacent from now onwards? This is so funny. Sounds only so funny because we are so tied into the definitions of the words, and slowly but surely we are breaking those definitions one by one. Wherever the judgment shows up, I'm being told to break those definitions for you. At the end of it all of us MPFI people will be like, oh, we love injustice. And we love identity crisis, and we love complacence. And people around you are going to be like, what? That's the fun part. Okay. All right, everybody. तबाह कर दिया. कोई word भी नहीं छोड़ा. अरे भी बड़े सारे words हैं. They're coming and they're coming. Megha says, today I got guidance on same thing, to be self-complacent, not to try add value to myself by taking additional work at the office. Yeah. Do worship at the office with the place of, oh, then people will value me even more. Well, just you be in the space of joyfulness. There is nobody that needs to value you. Nobody. And if you are looking for value outside, there is no end to it. There is zero end to that of looking at value outside. You could tomorrow become the minister of the state. Then you would want to be, I don't know, minister of the center. If you could become minister of the center, then the value would be in being the prime minister. If you could become the prime minister, I don't know where this will end. Anyways, but there is no end to the value that you will get from outside, because outside value is simply being able to increase your lack. It's lack. looking for value for yourself outside is totally lack. तो उस lack को देख जाओ और release कर दो. Today in the morning, I was having such a fun conversation with Mani, because it was just about this, that, people are worrying about nations, people are worrying about what will happen to earth. They have such big things to worry about. My worry in my day looks like कि आज गला ठीक है कि नहीं for me to conduct the webinar. बस इतने पे ही worry आके रुक जाती है, and then I'm like, मणि जी आप ही देख लेना. So that is my only this thing of worry कि अच्छा आज ही गला, is my throat going to allow me to speak for an hour, because I think I'm feeling a lot of something in my throat, and that's the extent of my worry. And no bettering the world and no making the universe a better place to be in. हमारा इतना सा काम हो जाता है, I'm sitting in मस्ती, I'm sitting in happiness. इतना ही करना है और कुछ करना ही नहीं है. Height of complacence. Anyways, so funny. Can we be, Sumanasi asked, can we be at all these positions and still complacent? Yeah, if you can see the role versus your energy. Because this complacence is all about you being at peace. You can be doing any role. I mean, कहने को तो I also come over here and I'm supposedly changing lives. People over here are gathered to listen to me because I'm changing people's lives and I'm telling you things that you need to know, and that is going to make all of this is happening. But where am I sitting? I am sitting and doing this role of a guide. I'm doing this role much better, because I'm sitting in the energies of complacence. That is what this entire conversation is all about. It's not about you quitting your job and sitting in the place of complacence, or you quitting all your roles. It's with whatever you are doing, can you still be in the energy of complacence? It's not about, oh, I'm not going to raise a finger from now onwards because Meenal has asked us to be complacent. The complacence is in the energies. It's not in your action. Otherwise, every action that you are taking is from the energy of wanting to change something or the other. It's from the energy of lack, most of the actions that we are taking. And I'm asking you to change from that lack to the place of peace and joy. And that's where most complacence comes. Because if you are in peace and joy, everything outside is perfect. It's wonderful. Kya hi to badalna hai? Because everything is already perfect. What will you change the perfection towards? It's already perfect. And that's when you become so complacent. मस्त मणि, आप कहाँ से मेरी लाइफ में आए? आरती जग्गी को थैंक यू कर देना. All right then. Lots of love. Okay. Okay then. A deep breath in and exhale. A deep breath in and exhale. And now, become aware of your body. Become aware of your body, of your head, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach. Become aware of your legs, your toes. Become aware. This is the experiencer body. The one that experiences this, your body. It puts you through many roles, and all of those roles bring you experiences. And now, in this moment, simply starting to bring all your focus to the chest, and then to one point in the center. Make it your center. It is the center of your existence. One point, a point in your body, the center of your existence. Put all your focus on that center. All your focus on that center. It's just a point in your body. It's an energy point. But in this moment, you're taking all your energies and focusing, bringing it all into the center, Maybe your heart, maybe your chest, anywhere, but one point in the center. And that's where you bring all your focus to. And for a few moments, simply sit and observe that center and the stillness in that center. Stillness. All your attention to that one point. My voice is leading you even deeper and deeper into that point. Your focus completely on that point. And you can tune into that silence, that stillness at that point. There are zero feelings, zero emotions, zero thoughts as you put your center as your only focus. This blankness, this peace, this calm, the place for maximum creation is from a place of stillness where you feel no rush to do anything, no wish to be anything. Everything else vanishes, and there is only this silence within you that you are centered on. No experiences, not even of joy, not of sadness, just simply experience the blankness. And this blankness, now you can begin to grow it. Grow this blankness a little more. Imagine it growing and spreading, this one little point expanding, expanding some more. It is enveloping your body now. This complete silence, this stillness is all around you, within you, and you are sitting in the middle of all of this stillness. This large balloon of stillness, of silence, and you are in the middle of it. Enjoy this place of silence. Be in it for as long as it allows you to. This is the place where you don't need to do anything, to be anything, because you are the silence. One with the silence, you are the silence. I am the silence. I am the silence. I am the silence. No matter what is happening outside, within me is silence. And I can tune into this silence whenever I wish to. I can sit in this space of stillness whenever I wish to. The silence is me. Oh money, oh money, oh money. Okay, everyone. Lots and lots of love. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mary. Thank
See you
you.
guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Lots of love.